on, guys, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a quick look at the Nighthawk Pro Gaming Wi-Fi 6 router, otherwise known as the XR1000. And huge shout out to NETGEAR for not only sending out the product but also sponsoring this video. I want to go over a few features that I think are pretty useful with this router that I think you guys might appreciate, especially nowadays being gamers and everybody is working at home. We've got a lot of people using devices all at once, and you don't always have the choice to play wired, so you need a router that's powerful enough to give you really good gaming performance throughout the household. A few things that I want to go over in the beginning of this product overview is going to be the fact that this router has Wi-Fi 6, which gives you about 4 times more capacity compared to previous generations of Wi-Fi. So not only can you have more devices connected, but the connection to the devices should be a lot faster as well. So if you got multiple people in the house gaming, using the internet, live streaming content and whatnot, Wi-Fi 6 should give you a little bit more bandwidth so that each device can have a much better dedicated Wi-Fi connection compared to previous versions of Wi-Fi. This router also has features to help with ping reduction up to 93% with all the different technologies that it has. It has a tri-core processor that helps to manage all the antennas that it has. You have 2.4 gigahertz as well as 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi with beamforming as well to give you much more consistent and stronger signals depending on the devices that need it most. This router also features compatibility with NETGEAR Armor security, and basically you can game, stream, do all of your internet things without having to worry about your internet cybersecurity. And last but not least, this router also features DumaOS 3.0, that is the latest version of the software that is designed to help give you a much better online gaming experience and has been used by pros for the past few years. Jumping into the design of the router, it's black with a couple of red accents. It does look pretty subdued, like it's not overly gamery in my opinion, and I think that that's really nice about it. So you can put it in a living room if you really want to, or you can also stick it in your server room and have it with all the rest of your networking equipment. You do have 4 labeled antennas as well, so you would know exactly how to place them on your router to get the best connection as well. And this router features AX5400 Wi-Fi 6, a tri-core processor running at 1.5 gigahertz, 4 gigabit Ethernet ports, and 1 gigabit Ethernet internet port that you'll plug in your internet connection to. And that is going to lead us to the setup process of the router. So what you're going to do, you're going to use your phone and the camera, scan the QR code that's at the top of the router before I ripped it off and made the video, and more or less is going to take you to the application that you have to download. The application will then pretty much do all the work for you. Periodically, you do have to go ahead and put in a little bit of information, like, what you want your networks to be named, if you want to use the guest mode or not, your passwords and all of that. And it'll take a little bit to set it up because your router is grabbing all of your internet settings and whatnot. And within a few minutes, you're going to be up and running and ready to game and use your internet again. Having the latest Wi-Fi technology is going to be really good, especially for the new consoles like the new Xbox Series X and S, as well as the PS5, as well as all the new releases that we had in terms of PC parts, having more new features from motherboards like upgraded Wi-Fi antennas and even external Wi-Fi cards, as well as obviously gaming laptops now coming with better Wi-Fi compatibility as well. So I do think that Wi-Fi 6 isn't something that you guys should sleep on. Definitely look into it, and if you guys are interested in checking it out, be sure to check out the Nighthawk Pro Gaming Wi-Fi 6 router. I will have linked in the description below. And the best parts about the gaming performance is that it's very similar no matter if you're playing wired or wirelessly. So you can play across your house, play Call of Duty on your Xbox in your living room, as well as in your bedroom with a router plugged in or wirelessly, and you will get very similar and comparable performance, especially when you use the tools from DumaOS 3.0. So we are now inside of the DumaOS, and basically I want to show you guys a few of these tabs just to kind of show you the things that I thought that were the most useful to me personally. I kind of like this one quite a bit because this is your bandwidth allocation tab, the SKUOS tab over here, where more or less you can attribute different amounts of bandwidth to different types of services that you may have someone using online. So initially everything will be set to equal, and then if you want, you can go ahead and adjust it so that, let's say that you want to prioritize gaming, now the bandwidth allocation is going to be more in favor of gaming, and somebody that is just browsing the web is not going to be hogging up all that bandwidth that you need to get those low ping times in game. So this is just one way to kind of change the allocation and the importance of certain tasks while you're playing games and whatnot. If this gets a little bit too out of whack, you can always just play with it until you find the perfect mix with all the devices that you have in your household. Speaking of devices in your household, you can go over to this device manager where it'll show you all of the devices that you either have connected or have active currently on the router. So you'll see over here on this offline tab, you know, obviously I have a lot of devices, so it'll show everything that I had that's offline, not currently using data. And then you also have all the active devices on this side, so you can kind of see possibly between any of these devices what are actively using you know, a lot of data that could be hogging up your bandwidth. This is the Geofilter tab, where you can more or less set the maximum distance that you want your lobbies and your online games to connect to. So if you're playing Call of Duty, if you're playing Valorant or Battlefield or anything like that, you don't want to connect to anyone outside of, let's say, a 625-mile radius, and you want to play against somebody that has less than, let's say, 80 ping, you can set these parameters. And what you'll notice is that you'll actually start to play against, you know, a lot more similar people, which is pretty cool. So this will optimize your connection, and this makes it a little bit easier for your router to kind of cherry pick who you play against, so you can always have the best connection possible and you won't really experience any lag. And what this really helps out with is giving you a similar experience playing wireless opposed to playing wired. So it's going to be very similar. Of course, you know, naturally if you play wired, it's going to be a better connection, but when you play wireless, you don't want it to be something that, you know, is noticeable in game while you're playing. Right now you guys are just seeing some gameplay of me playing wireless, and I haven't really been experiencing any connection issues, which is very similar to my wired experience. With this being my first experience using Wi-Fi 6, it is really impressive. You will have a very comparable experience to using a wired connection, especially while gaming and doing very intense things that cause your internet to need a lot of bandwidth all at once, and maybe a little bit further away than you typically would have done with your previous router. The NETGEAR Nighthawk Pro Gaming Wi-Fi 6 router is a pretty cool device, and I will have a link in the description below, so be sure to check it out if you are interested in the product. And I also think that the Duma OS 3.0 is definitely worth your time and checking out, especially if you do get this router. You 100% want to take advantage of those additional features. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. A huge shout out again to NETGEAR for sponsoring this video. Again, I will have them linked in the description of the video so you can check out the router if you're interested, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.